Dividing your LEGO 3D model into logical building stages is the secret to creating smooth and enjoyable instructions. In this video, I'll show you how to replicate LEGO's own methods for breaking down models from cars to massive cranes. You'll also discover the exact questions to ask to create a step sequence that's intuitive and professional. Ready to design like LEGO's master builders? Let's get started! Welcome to the second video in the second week of Bricks Biz Training. In this lesson, I'll teach you how to divide your 3D model into logical building steps. To help you understand how to divide your 3D model, we'll look at how LEGO performs this division within their official building instructions. At the end of this lesson, you'll have everything you need to imagine how to divide the 3D model of your own LEGO MOCs into several steps. This lesson is very important, as it will give you the basis for designing building steps that will offer your future buyers the best possible building experience. Before giving you the keys to divide your 3D model into steps, let's have a look at the structure of the building instructions one can find within commercial LEGO kits. Commercial LEGO kit building instructions differ from model to model, but they often share the same principles. First of all, LEGO models are generally built in several blocks. These blocks often correspond to the bags of parts inside LEGO boxes. For LEGO models built on bases, such as houses, architectural buildings, busts, or brickheads figures, the model is typically built bottom-up using real bricks. For LEGO vehicles or models with mechanisms, such as LEGO Technic sets, building is typically from the inside out. All new parts added at a given step should always be visible in the picture representing that step in the building instructions booklet, and wherever possible should be visible in their entirety. Parts are usually added to the model progressively from back to front. This also ensures compliance with the previous rule on part visibility. Complex blocks are frequently subdivided into smaller blocks, which in turn are subdivided into even smaller blocks. Parts are generally added in the same building area. It's, for instance, rare, except on very small models, to see parts added to the very right of the model at the same time as parts added to the very left. You probably have paper booklets for LEGO kits you own at home, so you can have a look at the contents of these building instructions and check the rules I've just described. Let's do this exercise together, and let's look at some official building instructions. Let's start with the Cozy House model, a LEGO Creator 3-in-1 set, having reference number 311139. You can find the building instructions for this box by following the link below this video. This LEGO box contains 4 bags for the main model, and therefore 4 main blocks, which can be found in the building instructions. In these building instructions, you start by building the minifigures before tackling the house. Building of the house starts with the base, then you build the walls, the first floor interior, then you build the second floor, and the roof. Building proceeds from the bottom to the top, which is logical for a house, as it would be in real life. The house is divided into 2 foldable blocks. As the model can be articulated, building is open plan to facilitate process and maximize legibility of the building instructions. Folding instructions are included at the very end of the building instructions. So, as you can see, the design rules of the building instructions are the same as those I mentioned earlier in the video. Let's look at some more building instructions for an official LEGO kit. Let's have a look at the race car and its transport truck. This is a LEGO City kit, having reference number 60406, and once again, you can easily find the building instructions for this kit by following the link displayed on screen or below this video. This LEGO kit contains a bag for the miniature and for the car. The build starts with the internal parts of the car, in our case the chassis. Building proceeds from the inside out. As you can see, all the parts that are gradually added to the model are visible to the person building the model. For a given step from the instructions, most of the time, parts are added within the same area in the build. They are placed either at the front of the build or at the rear, but rarely on both sides, except when it seems relevant or when the placement can easily be seen in its entirety. Once again, these building instructions give you the opportunity to check the rules I gave you earlier in the video. To finish our analysis of official LEGO building instructions, let's have a look at those for a very large LEGO model, the Liebherr LR 13000 Crawler Crane. This LEGO Technic kit is reference number 42146, and once again, I'm doing just a quick break in the video to let you know that if you're enjoying this free training, you're going to absolutely love the full Bricks Biz Training course. Bricks Biz Full Training Course, this is more than 25 hours of online content, an exclusive membership to a private Discord community full of business experts, a lifetime access to monthly live sessions, and tons of templates, bonuses, marketing strategies, and automation scripts to turn your passion for Lego bricks into a profitable business. It's completely risk-free to try. You have 14 days to explore the program, and if you're not satisfied, you'll get a 100% reimbursement. No questions asked, though I'm pretty sure you won't need it. So if you are looking for more information, just follow the link that appears underneath this video. I let you get back to the content of this free Bricks Biz Training Course video 6. And once again, you can download and view the building instructions following the link displayed on the screen and available below this video. This Lego build is very imposing. It comprises two 883 parts and comes along with two complete instruction booklets, totaling 592 pages. You can animate this model using your smartphone, so the first few pages of the building instructions explain how to control the model. Naturally, the building instructions are divided into numerous building blocks. The build begins with the heart of the model containing the mechanism and gears. The build then progressively extends outwards in successive layers. Building also proceeds from bottom to top. Very often in these building instructions, arrows are used to explain the right positioning of Lego Technic parts, indicating the special angles to follow when placing the parts. The model is so large that it can no longer be displayed on an entire page after certain building steps. As you can no longer see the whole model displayed on a single page, the building instructions zoom in on the area where new parts are added. At the end of the booklet, the building instructions include a number of instructions for configuring the ropes that will be needed to complete the crane and keep it running smoothly. So, as you can see from this quick review of 3 official Lego building instructions, the same rules of building and division into steps apply to all models in the Lego range. But let's now turn our attention to the best building sequence for our own Lego MOCs. Our aim, as you'd expect, will be to follow the same principles as the official Lego building instructions. You'll find from experience that there aren't necessarily any absolute universal rules. The best sequence of building steps will indeed differ from one build to another, but you will be able to follow a common process for creating building instructions. The starting point is always a complete 3D model. The idea is to subdivide this model into several blocks of finer granularity. This is shown on the screen in the first step, where you go from a 3D model to a division into several blocks, 4 in our example. Depending on the size of the block, you will either subdivide it into a sequence of steps or divide it into smaller blocks. These blocks can then be further subdivided into blocks or into building steps. By following this process of progressive division, you'll end up with a sequence of steps that will comprise a reasonable number of parts. The concept may seem a little abstract to you, but you'll see from the practical exercises you'll be doing this week that this division into steps will come about quite naturally and quite logically. Before moving on to the practical exercises, I wanted to summarize in a diagram the questions you need to ask yourself to help you break down your 3D model into its various blocks and building steps. The first question to ask yourself is how many parts make up your 3D model. In a very arbitrary way, if your Lego model is built with less than 350 pieces, it's considered a small Lego model, and so in the majority of cases, because remember that there's no absolute universal rule, you'll be able to keep just one main block. This is what we saw earlier in this video with the Lego car, for example. On the contrary, if your model has more than 350 parts, I would advise you to divide your main block into several blocks, as we saw with the Lego house. The second question to ask yourself is, does the main block rest on a base? If this is the case, for example for a house or a floor of a house, I'd advise you to start your building steps with the Lego plate that form the basis of the model. If your main block doesn't necessarily have a base, for example in the case of a vehicle, or if you're starting to work on a block with mechanisms, I recommend starting with the heart of the block, then gradually adding parts from the inside to the outside of the building. Finally, ask yourself the question for each of the blocks you've isolated. Is it small enough to be built in a few simple steps? If this is the case, simply subdivide the block into one or more building steps. On the other hand, if this is not the case, your block is still too big. Therefore, I advise you to subdivide this block again into a sequence of steps and possibly other blocks. Repeat the decomposition process, asking yourself the same questions as for the main block. By asking yourself these questions about the different steps of building, you'll be able to break down your 3D model into a first draft of a sequence of building steps. Of course, we'll be fine-tuning these steps based on what you've learned in future lessons. It's now time for our first practical exercise. This exercise will help us to understand the structure of the official LEGO building instructions. First, go to the LEGO Building Instructions website. You'll find the link just below this video. Choose 2 or 3 interesting building instructions. I advise you to choose instructions for models that are fairly similar to the MOCs you selected on the first day of training. To find building instructions for a model roughly similar to your MOCs, go to the page on the LEGO website listing the different LEGO themes available. I'll put the link below this video. Then type the model ID or name you're looking for into the search bar. You'll then have easy access to the building instructions for this kit. Examine the content and structure of the building instructions you've just downloaded. Have a close look at how your model is divided into blocks and how LEGO designers have defined their steps and the way they are linked together. This exercise should familiarize you with the division of the 3D model into logical building steps. Pause this video and do the exercise. I see you in a couple of minutes. Let's move on to a second practical exercise, again with the aim of giving you a first concrete idea of your future building instructions. Take a sheet of paper and use the content of this lesson to try to imagine what the main steps are in building your own LEGO MOCs, of course, starting with the ones you selected on the first day of training. Go back to the diagram you were shown earlier in this video and ask yourself the questions about your LEGO MOCs in order to divide your 3D design into logical blocks and steps. You can draw on what you learned in the previous practical exercise. Spend only 5 to 10 minutes doing this exercise and keep your abstraction level high. The aim of this exercise is simply to get you thinking about the logical building of your MOC, but not to get you through all the steps involved in building your creations. You'll have plenty of time to do that in the upcoming lessons from the Bricks Biz Training Course. Pause this video and get back to it in 5 to 10 minutes once you've completed this exercise. This new lesson from the training course is now over. I hope you now have a good idea of how to divide your 3D model into logical blocks. Before moving on to the next video, make sure you've completed the 2 practical exercises in this video. You should now have a rough draft of the 3D model of your LEGO MOCs broken down into a sequence of logical blocks and steps. I'll see you in the next video, in which we'll learn how to master Studio Interface to transpose this division you have on paper into logical steps within the software. See you soon in the next video. This video was taken from the Bricks Biz Training Course. If you'd like to discover the full richness of this training course and learn how to create and develop a business around your LEGO, you can follow the link that appears just below this video. You'll be able to join a community of experts and generate your first dollars in less than 4 weeks. As for me, I'll see you in a new free video on the BricksBiz YouTube channel. You can watch the video by clicking on the link on the screen.